Nature of decision making.
Decision making and problem solving are used interchangeably in the context of management. It is the role of managers to solve problems and make decisions that affect the workings of the organization. The effectiveness of the manager's decision is measured on the logical utilization of available human and material resources. The more complex and uncertain the issue involved, the more likely we employ systematic and rational decision-making techniques. The decision-making process is the sequence of events taken by management to solve managerial problems. It goes through a systematic process of problem identification, analysis, making alternative solutions, implementation, and evaluation. Characteristics of managerial decisions. Manager must have to face the problem and have to make decisions. In order for them to move effectively in the organizational system, they must be able to visualize the trouble ahead as decision making is risky. The following characteristic will help us better understand the risks involved in decision making. First, lack of structure. It is the usual state of affairs in the managerial decision making. Most problems exist that there is no automatic procedure to follow, leaving the manager at larger head or uncertain on the right procedure to proceed. Number two, uncertainty. The data to proceed are not usually available, and it is the task of the manager to get sufficient data to base his analysis. Number three, risk. It refers to the possible consequences of the action. When the result of the action is not successful, it is waste of time, money, and effort. Number four, conflict. It exists when there are opposing pressures from the other sectors in the organizational system. The pressure can be internal or external. Hence, caution has to be considered very carefully. 5. Personal bias. It occurs when conflict is not resolved according to the personal interest of other parties affected by the decision.
A managerial decision. There are problems that are less complete than main solvent due to his managerial complete that may be solved. Similar station. Meron po tayong two types of managerial, tinatawag structure or programming decision. Meron tayong non-structure or non-program decision. First is structure or programming decision. Letter A, problems are well defined and understand. B, highlight structure. C, routine and respective. Letter D, solution can be through policy and guideline and rules. Letter E, can be solved through and numerical analysis and computation. Dalawa is non-structure or non-program decision. First is letter A, the problem in unit in character. Letter B, it is a new in organization. Letter C, novel and novel answer. Letter D, verify or possible solution. Letter E, decision heavily and on managerial capacity. Meron po tayo nakalagay dito, the problem is unusual, a higher level in the managerial as a line a manager are more considered routine tasks which are using coverage and production.
Stages in rational decision making. Rational decision making is a process involving several steps that lead managers toward a solution. It is a process of identifying the right problem to solve and for eliminating new and creative opportunities. So there are 8 stages in rational decision making. So the first step is identifying and diagnosing the problem. It is very important that the problem is properly identified and that the manager recognizes that it exists. It is of great importance that the symptoms come into focus so that the cause can be identified. symptoms are difficult to identify, it will provide clues to existing problems, and when properly identified, correct remedial measures can be made. The manager must also identify the resources available to solve the problem. Second, analyze the decision environment. The manager has to evaluate the other factors in the external and internal environments that could influence better analysis. The manager should be careful in making assumptions that he has correctly identified the problem by just looking at the symptoms. The extensive the data gathered will give us a better view of the problem. Third, articulate and develop hypotheses. Upon identifying the problem and its symptoms and causes, we have to identify further the opportunities that will be derived from the findings. We can only make assumptions, and the data has to be evaluated properly. Fourth, develop alternatives. A rational decision-making process focuses on developing viable options. These are alternatives that are feasible, realistic, and sufficient. The alternative should be narrowed down to only a few options that can be reasonably evaluated. Manager judgment is still important. Experienced manager will lend valuable proposal in the analysis of the problem. Number 5, evaluating alternatives. This stage includes determining the value or the adequacy of the alternatives that were generated. The alternatives are selected and evaluated by tools that will determine the relevant information as to sufficiency, feasibility, and realism. So there are 3 alternatives that the manager can use. So the first is sufficiency of data. An alternative is viable if it is sufficient to solve the problem. It must be able to exploit the innovation opportunity. When the alternative is not sufficient, it should not be considered, and the manager has to go back to the analysis of other information. Feasibility. It refers to the probability that the alternative is workable or can be implemented with the resources available. The alternative must consider the internal and external resources and its impact on the organizational environment. Third, realism. The alternative must be realistic. It means that implementation could go through with less constraints on the organizational resources, both internal and external. Number 6, make the choice which alternative is feasible. Once you have considered the best possible alternative, the remaining options is to make the choice for implementation. It must maximize the company benefits that can be derived in the implementation. It must develop positive consequences, and operations shall be directed towards better performance. 7. Implementing the decision. The decision-making process does not end once the choice is made. The chosen decision alternative must be implemented. Those who implement the decision must understand the choice and the reason behind it. They must also be committed to its successful implementation. The manager should implement the decision with extreme caution to get things done according to plans. The planning implementation should follow the following steps. Number 1, determine how things will look when the decision is implemented. Number 2, arrange in chronological order the steps to be followed with the involvement of the concerned people. Third, devise the flowchart or flow diagram. Fourth, list the resources that will be needed. 5, specify the activities and the rules implementation of the decision. 6, develop schedules and timetable to ascertain accomplishments. 7, assign specific activities and the responsibilities of individuals who are in a project. The last but not the least is evaluating the decision. The final stage in the decision-making process is evaluation. This means that the manager has to monitor the progress of the implementation, get feedbacks, and analyze its positive or negative impacts. The positive feedbacks and data imply that the decision can be implemented in other units. Negative feedbacks have to be analyzed in terms of the problem in resource allocation, time constraints, and implementation strategy that are not followed accordingly. Decision-making environment. Managers may find that decision-making may seem cumbersome in making decisions. It is not always necessary to follow the procedures, but we have to understand the nature and the environments that influence how decisions are made. The following are the factors that influence the decision-making process. Number one is certainty. It is the condition that the manager knows that the chosen alternative will give the expected outcome. Second is the risk. When the outcome is not known or uncertain, here is the condition of risk. The manager must objectively determine probabilities and add intuitive dimensions in decision making. Third is uncertainty. This exists when the probabilities are unknown or difficult to estimate. Managers should not rely entirely on guesswork under condition of uncertainty.
Managerial decision-making technique.
Managerial decision making is not as easy as people probably think so. Managers need to analyze each and every aspect of business before reaching any decision. All the operations and the body of the organization depend on effective and logical decisions made by the management authorities.
The following are some of the most useful techniques employed by managers.
Brainstorming also requires freedom of expression by individuals within the group with little structures as possible. It should allow the greatest freedom of interaction. It must have the following features. Number one, criticism must be minimized. The group cannot think creatively in the presence of criticism. Ideas and suggestions will surface freely in the absence of constraint or intimidation. Outlandish and foolish ideas may have merit if given the freedom to surface. Criticism can be taken later in ideas, with little merit can be discarded. Varieties of ideas should be given due course, and no limitations should be imposed. Extraordinary alternative can evolve into a creative alternative. The evolutionary process of group interaction can achieve a flash of brilliance in the solution of problems. Number 3. Synergism should be encouraged through collaborative contributions. Competition must be built on a healthy foundation of a mutual trust. The collective result is the principal advantage of brainstorming. Develop nominal groups. Brainstorming is further refined into the organization of nominal groups to solve organizational problems. This technique follows many of the fundamental features of brainstorming, but it is modified to allow members to develop ideas independently through research and study. Their ideas and findings are presented in group sessions for further analysis and brainstorming. When issues are not yet resolved, they return to independent study. The following steps are features of nominal group technique. Number 1, members work independently and develop lists of ideas without consulting other group members. Number 2, the group member represents the idea to the group on a round-robin process with a designated recorder. Number 3, when all ideas had been presented, panel members discuss and elaborate points and issues. Number 4, they devise a rank order voting or predetermined rating scale as a means of predetermining the most viable idea. Votes are tallied and those with the most number are further refined until agreements are finally resolved. Independent survey method. This is used to develop new and futuristic ideas that shall guide management in the course of its direction to future operation. Respondents are
identified, but they are anonymous with one another. Yan. Tapos, effectiveness in decision making. The effectiveness of decision making process could only be evaluated on the basis of the results in the operation of the business, while the school taught us the rules and rudiments in making decisions, we are still lacking the art of decision making. These are the several guidelines that can help individual understand the art of making decisions. Number one is use information effectively. Use sparingly information. Information overload will complicate rather than solve the problem. Analyze sensible data that will bring the desired alternative data, which should be not more than 3 based on sensible data presented. Number 2, enhance system for decision making. Develop system of work that will find better performance. Tapos, develop working objectives that will bring out greater productivity and work efficiency. Number 3, strive for acceptance. Acceptance of decisions in the lower level depends on how manager involves the members in decision-making process. It involves the art of human relations and participative management system. Tapos number 4, communicate effectively. Effective communication must cascade up and down the organizational ladder. Members of the team must be aware of the decisions as well as the top management finally approve the decisions. Number 5, delegate pragmatically. The making and implementation of decisions should be pragmatically delegated. Those who have the necessary capacity or capability and the delegated authority should be assigned to study and recommend decisions. And lastly, build on strength. The strength of decision making is evident in the culture and education of the people who are tasked in making decisions. The executive must build along his strength in manpower and the other sources that will necessary in making and implementing decision strategy.